you guys have a direct link now to be on this screen, obviously. Another way to get there, which a lot of you already know because you were doing it a different way before, would be to log into my MaestroConference account using my username and password. And then you could go to the actual conference. There's like a list of different conferences. Like this is where I have all the classes and the group practice group. And then to go in through there, and then there's an edit tab where names could be entered in manually. So that's what I would normally do. And then the facilitators could just click conduct now through there and get in there. But recently MaestroConference handed out these links so people wouldn't have to go through the account, and they really had to do that because there were issues with Flash, Flash blockers that hadn't been there before. And I think, Debra, you might have encountered that a few weeks ago when trying to get in as a facilitator, where suddenly your computer wouldn't let you get into that or get into the conductor page, which of course creates all kinds of panicky moments. Oh my God, I can't get in and everyone's here and I can't turn off the music or communicate. So I've been there with that because of this Flash blocker situation. And so I wrote to them and told them, you know, what can we do? And they said, oh, we could give you a direct link to go right to the facilitator page. And now Nedra, you said that there was a delay with when people talk. And so this may not be the ideal situation, but also as we have more facilitators, since there is a lot of confidential information in my personal account there, it is, I kind of prefer if overall people can get in this way. But if anyone is finding that there's like issues with this, just let me know, and you know, I can give you another way to get into the system. Now, Nedra, as I'm talking right now, are you seeing my microphone light up as I'm talking right now?
Yes, I'm seeing your microphone light up. And also, I'm also seeing Lisa's microphone light up too, even though she's not speaking.
Yes, and that's because there's some background noise. So there's a little bit of background noise, and I think that's why it's lighting up as well. Now, let's go into just very briefly how the sound works on this system. And even those of you who've been doing this for a while, if you're wanting a refresher on the breakout groups, it's essential to understand how the sound works. So over to the right, you see the buttons mute, breakout, and public. And can everybody on your own individual name, what I'd like you to do, we're going to practice just the sound buttons. So on your own individual name, I want you to click your name first and then click the mute button and mute yourself. So click your name on the list and then click the mute button. Okay, great. Everyone successfully did that. So you're on mute, and now you can see two buttons down, the public button. So there's mute, breakout, and public. Now put yourself back on public. So you always have to click on your name first and then go to public. So public is the main room where everyone, when you're on public or someone else is, everyone else can hear you. So always remember that if you want to make sure everyone can hear everyone else, everyone should be on public. and especially yourself. But sometimes issues will be that people are not on public. It's pretty easy to understand the difference between mute and public, but what we're going to be talking about is the breakout only groups here in just a minute. But I want to show you those who are new here, and just a reminder, if you wanted to get everyone at once fast. Now you could go and you could click on each person's name and mute each person, but there's more efficient ways. So up above the main name panel, you'll see where it says everyone. It says select and then everyone. That's the default. If you click on that drop down arrow where it says everyone, and again, this is just right above the names where it says select and then everyone. If you click that little arrow, the drop down menu, you'll see it says everyone, presenters, assistants, participants. I never really have a reason to do anything other than everyone. But so for example, if I wanted to quickly get everyone muted, and I'm doing that right now. Oops. Okay, so I just muted everyone and then I just unmuted everybody. So, or I could individually, like if I want to mute Debra, I'll click on her name, go mute Debra. I'm going to mute Sam. Okay, so those are individually, but I could just go to everyone and just unmute both people at once. So Lisa Marie, could we have you mute everyone and then unmute everybody by putting them back on public?
Okay.
Yes, excellent. And then Dean, very nice job. And now can we have Dean do the same thing? Okay, excellent. I was getting a little nervous there about you putting us back on public, but then I remembered I could always just change it for you if you forgot. So great with that. And then Sam, why don't we have you, if you could just mute 3 people and then unmute them.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. That's good. So
Debra,
yes.
this is Debra, and I don't see where it says everyone. On the column that says name, and when I clicked on that, I just have a blue band across my name. I don't see everyone.
Okay, so go to the top, go to the very top of the page. Do you see where it says select? And then next to that, there's a window that says everyone. Or do you see a button that says select?
Is this in the first, is this in the column to the left, in the middle, or to the far right column?
It's in,
I'm looking.
And look in the middle right above the names. So Lori's name is at the top, or Lisa Marie standing in as Lori. And then you see a row that says custom, breakout, size, and then above that.
Okay, size.
Okay.
No, it's not a column, Debra. It's a drop down box above the column. It's not part of the column. Oh, so it says select colors. Yeah, got it. I see it. Thank you.
Okay. And so why don't you try that, Debra? Go ahead and mute everybody and then unmute everybody. And all you do is you click on the drop down menu and click everyone. Oh, there you go.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so this is obviously helpful if something's going on and you really need to mute people right away, or when you're, let's say it's time to do a meditation with everybody, or there's background noise, and you know it can take a little bit to do individuals, so that drop down menu is very helpful. So those are the two ways to move back and forth.
Debra?
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question here? Because I noticed the last time I was facilitating, the same thing happened. Your mic is the only one that was showing up green. So like when Debra Sharif was talking, her mic never lit up.
Okay. So
well, actually, now I see mine. Mine is lit up, but yeah, I noticed the same thing the last time I facilitated, that when the students were talking, their mics didn't light up. Oh, unless I recognized voice, I didn't know who was speaking.
Okay. So
and Nedra and I experienced the same thing. This is Debra, and I'm talking, and my mic is not lit up. Yeah, so as you're talking, Debra, yeah, your mic isn't lighting up at all. Yeah, I noticed that too, and there's like at least a 60-minute delay, it looks like.
Okay, so this seems to be a function of signing in through this link instead of, because you didn't have this when you were signing in through my account, I believe.
Right.
Now, I am signed into my account, and I'm seeing a couple second delay. Well, actually, as I'm talking right now, I'm not seeing my mic lighting up either. So I think this is a function of yeah, being through this link instead of through the account. So again, we'll have a couple options. I can have you go into my account if you find this is, you know, too difficult to work with, because it is helpful to be able to see who's talking. Now, that being said, I do want to remind the facilitators that you should remind people who are talking to always say who's talking, because even if you can see their names lit up, everybody else cannot. So, and it's very easy for readers, participants to fall out of the habit of always saying who's talking. So just remind people that, and that will help. But I know we do tend to rely heavily on the green button. So for Lisa Marie and Dean, who are new here, you'll see, and this is actually important with the breakout rooms. So now that I'm thinking about that, what I'm about to go into is rather important here. So I think that given there's this issue, I am going to have to give everyone access back into the account. We'll see if we can get through the training here with what's happening right now with these microphones. But if you're seeing any, as I'm talking, if there's a green, look at the microphone to the left of my name. And if you see green right now, if you can please hit 1.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you can all see green next to my name. Now, Nedra, I see in the staff chat that you said maybe we could use Zoom for the practice groups instead of MaestroConference. That is something that I have thought about. Now, the reason I haven't moved to that is because I found that the breakout groups for Zoom are not as flexible, which may not matter so much for practice groups because we would only be using 2 breakout groups at the most. Now, if we went over to Zoom, then pretty much like today's training doesn't even need to be happening right now. So and it would require people. Now, the other reason I didn't go to Zoom is because not everybody has internet access all the time. And so if somebody didn't, they then would not be able to join in. So that was another consideration, but again, I'm not ruling it out. And you know, it's always kind of a little bit anxiety provoking to just make a change like that. But again, I was even having that thought right before we got on the call. So I'll put a little bit more thought into it, and it may be that at some point we do change over there. So to be continued on that. For now, let's continue with this. So you can see as I'm talking, everyone indicated that at least while I'm talking, you could see my microphone light up, and it's lighting up as green. And the reason it's lighting up as green is because I am talking. So when this is all working correctly, as it should, whoever speaks, it should show up green, and it should be green right away. It's just that it's been malfunctioning. So this is very valuable, and to see when someone is talking that it's green. Now, let's discuss the breakout groups. So, oh, and one more thing just before we even get there, just because you're watching me work the system here. So you see everyone hit 1. So just in terms of the polling, this is called the polling feature. And so I want to take the hands down so we don't have 1s up the whole time. So if you look directly to the left of the list of names on the left panel, you can see this whole interface is divided into 3 panels, like 3 columns, with the middle column with the names being the widest. But on the left, you can see where there's the 5 hands kind of towards the top. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you see under number 1 is the number 7. So that means 7 of us have raised our hands and indicated number 1 as a response. Let's just do this one more time. Would everyone hit, let's everyone hit 5. Okay, so you could see now that 8 people hit 5. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is always the same. So there's only 5 options. That's why you'll never hear me say, you know, hit a different number than 5. There's only 5 options, but 5 options, we all hit 5, and 8 of us. So this is called taking a poll, because we can now say all 8 of us hit number 5. And it says 8 hands up. And so now if, let's see, Debra, why don't you lower the hands? It says down underneath those 5. So if you can put the hands down.
Okay. Sorry. Hands down.
And it just says down.
Don't click on it.
All you have to do is just click the down button. So the down button's to the left of the names. Yeah, you don't have to select anything. All you do is just hit down.
Poor thing. Help her. Help her. Okay, up. And then it went, it went down. Oh, God. Okay. Who would think I even had education?
No,
let's go up. I have up button and then I have the down. Oh, Lord.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Take a deep breath. This is what we're here for. So, okay, so I don't think you're looking at the right thing because I don't even think there's a way to hit up. So, okay, do you see the list of names, right? You see our names.
Yeah.
And then an inch over to the left, in the left panel, there's a yellow button that says down.
Okay. Oh, look, there it is, down. Oh, okay. You know what? I was looking in the middle column, and I was looking across the top with all the names. And, okay, great. They're down.
Okay, good job. Very good job. And so, you know what helps is to really think of this as, because there's so much information here, but just everyone think of this as it's divided into 3 panels. So everything is individual, the far left panel, the middle panel with the names, and then the right panel. So, and you know what, I'm just noticing too, you know, everyone hit number 2 on your keypad. Hit number 2, I want to see one thing here. Okay, so this is interesting to me because I've been using the system for like 7 years, and I didn't notice that the hands were on the right. I don't know if it's always been there or if it's new, but I've always worked the panel with the hands on the left, and now I'm seeing that it's actually on the right as well. There's 5 hands, and then you could click down. Now, how did I miss that all these years? That's beyond me. It just shows you how, if you're expecting something, you could, like, I've never seen this before on the right. Very weird. Okay, so Debra, don't feel bad at all. I'm still figuring this out too. All right, so now let's see. So there's 7 people that hit 2.
Debra.
Yes.
Debra, just a second. I think I figured out why they have hands on the right. Because if you can't touch your dial pad, you can press that number. So you, like what I just did was I pressed 4, and then you can press 5, and then you can do that instead of going to your dial pad on your phone. Does that make sense?
Oh, I see. Click to raise.
Do you notice how I'm doing that?
Oh, I see that. Is that what? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So instead of going to your phone, you can just go on the interface if you wanted, I guess, for if you're a presenter. So,
okay, now I'm kind of figuring out what's going on here too, which is it's possible, like, we could give everybody this screen. We could give everyone the screen, even participants, and that's why they require that a person's name be put under presenter, because I think that sometimes people running classes will give the participants this screen, and then if they wanted to just raise their hand through the system, they could do that. So I think that's why this is happening right now, which I think is kind of a newer feature. All right, so I think thank you, Nedra, that just helped explain things. And so now let's, Dean, why don't you click down and get rid of all the numbers next to the names. And so again, remember, for facilitators, you can always tell the people in the practice group, you could tell them to hit 5 if they need to communicate to you. And you could always do taking polls, just like I do. If you enjoyed that reading, hit 1. If you didn't enjoy it, hit 2. So you can always use that to communicate as a group, which is helpful if there's several people in the class. Okay, so far what we've covered today is raising hands and lowering hands, and then the difference between the mute button and the public button. Now we're going to go to the breakout groups, which is really why we're here. Now, there are multiple ways to create breakout groups, and I'll share a couple ways. But before I should say the first step is understanding that the audio, there's 2 things you have to do when you create breakout groups. There is the audio function, and then there is actually creating the group. And this is the source of confusion for people starting off. This is the most confusing thing about this system. So you could go ahead and split people into groups, but if you don't have them on the breakout only, then everyone's going to be able to hear everybody else. So, because they'll be on the public or they'll be on the mute. So let's all look at the far right panel where it says mute, breakout only, and public again. Oops. Okay, so I just put everybody, we're all on public, but I'm going to put Nedra in a breakout group. And now, if you're not able to see the microphones, that might be a problem. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to put myself in a breakout room, and I want you to watch my microphone. You won't be able to hear me though until I bring you into my group. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to first, I'm going to put myself in breakout mode only. Or wait, I haven't showed you yet how to create the breakout room. First, I'll show you what happens when I go into breakout only. So I'm clicking my name. Remember, you have to select the name first, either one name or everyone, before you work with these sound microphones. So I'm clicking my name, and then I'm going to go to breakout only, and I want you to look at the color of my name. Okay, now I'm coming back to public mic. So again, look at, it's green right now. Everyone else's is a darker color, but now I'm going to breakout only. So in breakout only, I was on gray. And this is why the more I talk, the more I realize how important these microphone colors are. So you could just glance at it and know, oh, the person's in on breakout mode. Now, I haven't yet created groups. So what will happen, it's kind of like if I put myself in breakout only, I'm in limbo at the moment. So actually, if I go to breakout, I can still hear everyone in the public room, but breakouts are essentially designed so no one else can hear what's going on in that room. So I can put myself in breakout and talk, and you won't hear me, but I can still hear you all because you're in the public. But if I put you on breakout, you're not going to hear. If I put you in breakout, you're going to hear what's in the public room, but people won't be able to hear you unless they go into your breakout room with you. So sometimes there are issues, like when we first call into class or practice group, for whatever reason, sometimes the system just has people in breakout mode. And so when you're first signing in as a facilitator, you know, that screen, the entry screen, it'll show you like some some people might be on breakout, some people might be in public. As a general rule, like you want to just kind of obsessively check, is everyone in the main room if I want them there? Because if people, for example, I'm going to put Debra in the breakout. So Debra, you can hear me, but I won't be able to hear you. And I'm going to put Sam in breakout right now. So I don't know if you guys can see this. If you guys can see light gray next to Debra and Sam's name, just hit 1. Some of you might be able to see what I'm seeing right now. Okay, good. It looks like you could see it. It might just be a delay. So you could see, like, if I came into the call and saw Debra was light gray and Sam was light gray, this tells me, oh no, I better get them on the public mic, because what's happening is they can hear me, but if they talk, it's like they're somewhere in a room by themselves. So I'm going to just click on everyone. I'm going to click on public, and that way I see everyone's mic is dark, except mine is just green because I'm talking. Okay, there, I stopped talking and it went black. So again, let's see, I'm going to put Naomi in breakout, and if you look next to her name, it's gray, and now I'm going to put her on public. So yes, when you first come onto a call, just make sure you select everyone's name and put them on the mic. Or you may decide, I want to put them all on mute. And then I could say, hey, everybody, you're all on mute. If you mute people, you want to tell them they're on mute. So one of the, since they're not looking at the system themselves, you want to communicate to them what you're doing at any given time. Okay, so I'm going to put everyone back in public. And now, so again, let's talk about these breakout groups. So now we want to put people in breakout rooms. And if I selected breakout but didn't go on to the next step, then no one's, it's kind of like everyone's just in this nebulous place. I have to distinguish between where they're going so they can hear each other. So it is not enough, let me repeat, it is not enough to just put people on breakout, although that will be the mode that they talk to each other. So let me show you. I'm going to put everyone on breakout and then just start to talk out loud. Hello, we are talking out loud. Can we hear each other? Okay, so you're talking out loud and no one can hear each other. You're hearing me because I put myself back on the public mic, because you can hear me, but I can't hear you in your breakout groups. So this means we still have another step to do. We need to get it so that we've got rooms assigned. So I'm going to put you all back on public now so we can all hear each other. Okay, so this, there's 2 ways. There's even more than 2 ways, but I'm going to show you 2. Let's see. I'm going to show you a way that some of you may not know first. Okay, so I'm going to click on Naomi's name, and I just highlighted it. So you see the blue. Anytime you highlight it means you've selected that person. And now I want to put Naomi into a breakout group. Now if you go to the right panel under the public and mute buttons, you see move into breakout. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? It says move into breakout. And if anyone doesn't see that, just hit 5 right now if you don't see where I'm talking about, because it'll say move into breakout, and then it's main room, new breakout, new private breakout. Okay, so I think, oh, Dean. So if you go to the right panel, so under the mute, breakout, and public, you go a little further down, there's hands, and then underneath that, it's move into breakout. Do you see that?
Okay, I see it.
Okay. Okay, so let's just talk about new breakout. So what I want to do is I want to put Naomi into a breakout room. Oh, let's see. Dean is in a breakout room. How is Dean in a, okay. Okay, I think you click breakout. So Dean clicked new breakout and it put him, and you can see under the word new private breakout, there's main room, new breakout, new private breakout. Let's just, I'm not going to yet distinguish between those two, breakout and private breakout, but look how there's a 3. Every time someone's name is clicked and then they click on their name and go to new breakout, you'll see a room form. So Dean clicked on his name and then he clicked on new breakout, and you can see the 3 there. If you go to Dean's name, you could also see, go to the right of Dean's name and it says breakout and there's a 3. That means room 3. And then you could see next to his name size, it says size 1 because he's the only person in that room. And now, Dean, I'd like you to select Naomi's name and put her, click on her name and then click new breakout. Dean, why don't you do that? Okay, now when he did that, now there are 2 rooms. Dean is, and you could go back, like you can go back and forth to see this between the middle panel and the side panel. There's a 3 and a 4. If we look at Dean's name, Dean is in breakout 3 and Naomi is in breakout 4. Now again, look at the public mic. They're both on public. So even though these groups have been created, it's almost kind of like it doesn't matter unless they both are put into breakout audio. So right now they're in 2 separate rooms, but they're both, if you, Naomi, can you say something?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. So you'll see, even though she's been selected for room 4, it's kind of like she hasn't yet officially been put there. She has to be on breakout mode in order to be by herself. So Dean, can you put Naomi's in the breakout, put her audio on breakout so no one will hear her talk?
Okay, select the breakout only for her.
Yes, so you have to select her name and then select breakout only.
I've done that.
Okay, great. So if we look, for those of you who can see the colors on the microphone, Naomi has gray next to her name. That means right now she's officially in a room by herself and she can hear me, but Naomi, say something out loud.
No, we can't hear her.
Right. We can't hear her because she's in her own breakout room. And until we have 2 options. We either have to put ourselves into her room to hear her, or we need to put her sound back onto the main mic to be able to hear her. Now, let's keep her in room 4. And now, Sam, could you move Naomi, could you move Dean into room 4 with Naomi? And okay, so Sam just did that. And then also Dean, look, so they're both in 4. Does everyone see next to their names, it now says 4, both of them? And you can see the 3.
No, we have a delay.
Okay. Oh, you have a delay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Some of you, if you have a slower internet connection at your house, you're going to have more of a delay. So occasionally when my internet is going out, I'll find that like suddenly the screen doesn't seem to be working. If it was working before, that a lot of times it's because the connection just slowed down. Now, Deborah, can you see both of them in 4 right now?
No, I can't, and I'm paying too much money for my high-speed internet for this to happen.
Now you can.
No.
Okay. Anyone else having that issue? Can everyone see that they're both in the same room? And Deborah, one thing you could try is Xing out of the screen and then coming back in. It doesn't affect the call. As long as you're on the phone, that's not going to hurt anything, but you can close out the screen and then see if you can come back in. And that's for everybody, that's always an option if something seems to be going wrong with the screen. It will not affect the audio. Okay.
That's cool.
So Naomi and Dean are in the same room, but they're, so Sam, can you, let's see. So Dean is on the public, but Naomi is in breakout and she's hitting 5. Naomi, why don't you put yourself back on public so we can hear you? Okay.
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 So I had a question.
Yes. We'll take you out of.
How did you move Dean into the same breakout room? I think I missed how that happened.
Okay.
He was in 3 and I was in 4. So what did you do to get Dean into the same breakout room?
Okay, so you click on the person's name and then you click on the number where you want them. So under the right panel where under move into breakout, you're going to want to go back and forth between your eyes on that and the list of names. So do you see where it says main room, new breakout, new private, and then 4?
Right.
So you can take anyone's name. For example, let's do this.
Oh, I see. You just clicked on the 4.
Yeah. Yes. So
oh, got it.
What if you can move Samantha into room 4, Naomi?
Okay.
Okay, and then now we want to create another breakout. Let's see, could we have Lisa Marie, could you please create a new breakout room and put yourself in a new breakout room? Okay, excellent. That was very quick. So see Lisa Marie as Lori. Her name's showing up as Lori.
Okay.
So she created a new breakout room by selecting her name and just clicking on new breakout. So let's see, Dean, can you create, I want I want to now create a third breakout room, and you could put Maureen in that. So create a third breakout room. Okay, great. So we have 3 breakout rooms right now. And now, Debra, could you move Maureen into the breakout room with Lori?
She's at 5. Yay, I did it.
Excellent.
I did it.
Very, very good job. You're catching on very quick. We're going to give you a gold star. You get 2 gold stars. Okay. Okay. So now there's one more step to do, because we've got 2 breakout rooms right now, and you'll notice that because we put people into 2 groups, we had 3, but since no one was in the third one disappeared. Also notice what the system does, it's a little weird, but it just keeps adding numbers. So it doesn't really matter that it's 4 and 5. If I create another room, like if I put Nedra into room 7, well, every time I click 1, the numbers are going to go up. So we don't really care that it's number 7 opposed to 2, the sequence. It's just we want people together. So the numbers help us group people. So now we have 3 in room 4, 2 in room 5, and Nedra's in room 7. But and let's put let's see, Naomi, could you put Debra in room 7 with Nedra? Okay, great. So now we have 3 breakout rooms, but what do we need to do in order to make it so we can't hear everyone in the breakout rooms? What do we still need to do?
Move them into breakout.
Yes.
Breakout only.
Yes, because otherwise, so you can see we've done the dividing up, but we're all still here. So without this step, it doesn't work. So now this is a good time. Now you could individually click on each person's name. So you'd click on the name and then click breakout only, but that's not as efficient as just going to everyone and then click on breakout. So Dean, why don't you do that first and then put us all on breakout and then put us all back on public. If you can do that, Dean.
Did I do it?
Try it. Well, just do it and leave us all in breakout so I can make sure. Just leave us there and then I'll take us out.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I did it, right?
No, because
I didn't see them.
no.
It didn't light up.
No. So you click on everyone and then you need to and then you click on breakout. Did you do that, Dean?
I selected everyone on the drop-down box on the top.
Uh-huh.
And then I selected the breakout on the audio side. Breakout only.
Okay, I wonder, it didn't seem to work. Try it one more time.
How about now?
No, because you should be in there too, and I shouldn't be able to hear you say, how about now?
I think, this is Sam, I think what he's doing is he's clicking on the breakout only with the microphone instead of down where it says breakout, I think. Or is that what's supposed to be happening?
Here, say that again.
Is it supposed to be highlighting everybody and then also putting them, because I think he's clicking the breakout only with the microphone. Is that what's supposed to be happening right now? Or is it supposed to be down at the bottom into new breakout?
No, it shouldn't. It should just be, yeah, something like that is going on. Here, let me show. I'm going to go to the drop-down menu. I'm going to click on everyone. So I've selected everyone. And now I have to go to breakout next to, in between mute and public. Oh, sorry, I put myself in breakout. So right now, everyone can hear me because I'm on the public mic, but everybody else is in their breakout group. So I went to select everyone, and then I'm going to put everyone on public. And now I'm going to select everyone, and I'm going to put them on breakout. Now I'm putting myself on public. Now I'm going to select everyone and put them on mute. Now I just unmuted myself, and now I'm going to select everyone and go to breakout. And just say hello when you're in breakout, and you'll see you're just talking to a couple people.
Hi there, Debra.
Hi there.
Oh, hi, Debra. Hi. Yay for us.
Okay, now I'm going to put everyone back on public. Okay.
Yeah, we're learning about it. It was, facilitating was hard without this.
Yeah.
Gosh, only I knew this a week ago.
Oh no.
Right?
Okay, so
Yay.
Obviously,
This is Debra S. Can I ask a question?
yes.
Okay, then if the way to accomplish this is to select everyone and then public and then everyone and then breakout only?
Well, you don't.
Because it seems like when Dean went directly to everyone and then breakout only, it didn't work. But Debra, it seems that when you did it, you started with everyone and then public and then everyone and breakout.
Well, normally I've never noticed that to be necessary, but given we're all on this together, that might be. Dean, do you want to try that? Select everyone, then try public first and then on to breakout? Okay, okay. Yeah, that was good. So all the microphones went to gray. So yeah, thank you. That seemed to work. Again, I think it's just glitchy and it's not usually needed, but that seems to work. So just remember that, everybody, that you can get people on breakout that way. Now, is everyone following? Is anyone confused, or does anyone want to practice so far? There's a couple. What I haven't talked about yet is, as the facilitator, what to do when you're separating people out, and I'll get to that in a minute. But just from what we've done so far, does anyone want to just hit 5 if you want to practice this a couple times with everyone here? So, okay, Dean, what would you like to practice right now? Do you want to Do you want to hop?
Oh, I think I understand.
You
I
think
think
it?
I understand the system.
Okay, great. Does anyone want to practice like putting someone into another group or putting everyone into breakout?
Can I do it?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, what am I doing first?
Okay, so let's say we want Naomi. We've decided that we want Naomi to be in group 5. We want her to be with Lori and Maureen instead of with Dean and Sam. So we want you to put Naomi into group 5.
Okie doke.
Okay. Yes, that's
Okay.
great. And so that was perfect. You get another gold star for today.
Thank
And
you.
you're just accumulating from left and right here. Okay, so now anybody else want to practice that?
Right.
And so again,
I
there's,
think I just want to try
yes,
putting everybody into the breakout room and back.
okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Are we all back?
Yes, okay,
Hello?
yes. Okay, very good
Oh,
job.
okay.
Very good job.
So I went straight from everyone to breakout. I didn't go to public
Yeah.
first.
Okay, so
Good. Did it?
so that seemed to work well for you. Okay, good.
Okay.
Now, hold on just a second because I need to go plug in my computer. And so just, I'll be back in 1 minute. If anyone wants to play around with the settings, you can. Let's take a minute break and then I'll be back.
I have a question to everyone. I have a blue band going across anybody's name when I click on it. Do you guys have a blue band as well?
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
Okay, okay. And that doesn't seem to go away. If you want it to go away, is there a way, or it just hangs around waiting for you to take some action?
Yeah, so I don't think that it goes away. It just highlights. Yeah, that highlights the person. It like lets you know that you're clicking on the person, but I think it just always stays on there unless you click them.
Okay. Okay.
This is Lisa Marie. I have a question. I'm not sure if I missed this or not. On the left of the screen where it says breakout, then there's a blue button that says create, and then one that says install. Did she tell us to push the create one as the very first step?
No,
No, no.
And she just had us move to breakout. Okay.
It's all on the right-hand panel, I think, that we've been working.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't miss it.
Yes, and
Yeah, I wondered the same thing.
I want to push that button to see what happens.
well, go ahead.
Okay, all right, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Oh. That brings down a whole nother thing. That brings up a pop-up box.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you guys do it too.
Oh, it does. Oh, yeah.
What are we talking about? The breakout tab?
The create on the left side next to breakout.
Well, I think you can have the Maestro do a random select people, and you can have the 5 or groups of 2, and then it's a random thing, so you don't have to go through and try to decide. It'll do everybody at once. Yeah,
yes,
I think. But
Oh,
And Maureen, here's what I'm thinking about. You know how when you and I have talked, and you have some folks that are brand new, and you know the folks better than I do, but I notice how in our conversation you'll mix the groups depending upon the person's, level.
Oh,
You know, if they're just starting. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what we tried. We were just playing around, but some people wanted to be with the volunteer, and some people, we asked them, okay, if you want to be with the volunteer, click on one, and we see the one. And then if you want to go into a separate breakout group and just practice with other students, hit 2. Okay. And if you don't care, hit 3. And then we would even it up, and then we would highlight all the ones to go into one breakout. And then, but we used the new private breakout, and we did it a little differently. So this is good for me to review how Debra does it. So, yeah.
well, and this is Debra. So Maureen, in a couple minutes, I'll ask you to talk about the private breakout and the difference between that. But let's talk about this screen right now. So Lisa Marie, you were being possibly precognitive, because as I went to get my electrical cord, I was thinking, okay, next I'm going to show them the other way to create the breakout rooms. And then I came back and you were talking about this. So does everyone know what we're talking about here? Why don't you, on the left side of your screen, where it says, on the left out, it says breakouts and create and dissolve. So everyone click on create again. And does everyone here have that box up?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, so that you can think of this as a whole different way to create breakouts, or you can work with them together. So exactly as Maureen was saying, this is like an efficient way to do it. So let's look at what's here. Right now it says, let me just, I'm gonna dissolve. Oh, let me show you this. Go back out, click out of that box, and there's create and dissolve. So I want to just dissolve all the rooms right now. So this is not in the box. If you X out, go back to breakouts, create, dissolve. Okay, so someone clicked the dissolve button. And so we have no more groups left. So let's start from the beginning. So Maureen, do you want to give instructions to get people, say again what you would normally do in a practice group to decide where to get people to go?
Okay, so we would ask people if they wanted to be with the volunteer, hit 1. If you want to be in a separate breakout and practice with other students, hit 2. And then if you don't care, you could hit 3. But actually, it's probably best to just have either 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you could divide people like that, and that's a good idea to give them that choice. Or there's always options. So this kind of gets more into just considerations for practice groups, and we could talk about that later on another day. But so you could divide them up like that, or you could divide them by experience. Like if you're really new, hit 1 and we'll have all the new people work together. And if you've been doing this for a long time, hit 2, and we could separate them out. So there's different ways, but then it's also good to have like sometimes a combination of both. So I wouldn't always do that. I might want to scatter the new people and the more experienced people. So have a few in each group too. But anyway, let's say Lori, Debra, and Maureen, if you could hit 1, and then Naomi, Dean, and Samantha hit 2. Okay, so we'll pretend that those who hit 1 want to be in the group with the volunteer, and those who hit 2 want to be in the group with the readers. And Sam, if you can hit, what did we say? Lori, or I'm sorry, Lisa Marie hit 1, and then Sam, why don't you hit 2? Okay. All right, so you indicated with your hands what you wanted, and then let's all go to the create button on the left. And then it's giving the options. See down here, it says you can create groups randomly, or you can do keeping hand positions together when possible. And so if you click on, let's have Naomi, why don't you click keeping hand positions together. We'll let you do this right now. And so click keeping hands together when possible, and then click commit and see what happens. Okay, and it looks like, wait, did it?
Nothing happened, did it?
I don't think anything happened. Here, keeping hands together. Okay, I'm gonna, oh, you know what? Because it wanted you to select into breakout. Do you see in the middle, it's asking you to select, do you want the hands to be in breakouts of 2 or 3? Because not everyone is selected. So it's kind of, so
I don't see.
do you see where it says into breakouts of at least 2 or 3 in the middle of the box?
Got it.
Okay, click on either one of those and then click commit.
I'm not seeing.
It, you know, it may be just because maybe there's too many of us on here. I'll do it. Let me see if I can do it. Okay, so.
My box.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say into breakout of at least, there's nothing that I can click.
Well, do you see the commit button here? Let me, I'm gonna.
But I have that before.
Oh.
To hit breakout only, I think, after that.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you hit the commit, and then that lines everybody up, and then hit breakout only and see what happens.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked. Hello?
Yeah.
Well,
I had to do, yeah.
Well, right now we have Lori. So, okay, the rooms have been established. You could see Debra and Naomi. Me and Naomi are in 14. Debra's in 15. Maureen and Dean and Sam are in 16, and Lori's in 17. So the system broke us up into this many groups. Now, if we didn't like this, now, and just what I'll tend to do, you can see there's still numbers with hands, but that gets confusing. So I'll put the hands down. Who wants to lower the hands? Just go to down, and that lowers the hands. It doesn't affect the breakout. Okay, so we have all these breakout groups. But right now, Lisa Marie as Lori is the only one whose mic is gray. So she's by herself in room 17, and she's on the right mic, but no one else is. Naomi, why don't you put everyone into so they can only hear each other in their rooms? Can you do that right now? So this is just about the sound settings now. So
I guess, well, I hit everyone and breakout only. Did I need to go back to the breakout on the left?
no, it should work.
Oh.
Maybe your screen needs to be refreshed. Again, because there's so many of us on here, which is maybe that's create because it seems like maybe it's your screen. Or, you know, Naomi, why don't you try just selecting one person and put them on breakout only? Like select Debra and put her, click on her name and click on breakout. Let's see if that works.
That worked.
Okay, so that worked. And now see if you can do it from the drop down with everybody. Remember, you got to click on the arrow and then select everyone. So at the top where it says everyone, underneath it, click on everyone.
No, it's not working. I clicked on everyone and then breakout only, and it's still not.
And when you click on everyone, are you doing the drop down menu and then everyone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's.
You know, this is Maureen. I never did do everyone at one time for some reason. I would highlight the names and then I did one at a time. And it was a lot slower that way, but it seemed to work. So this is interesting.
Okay, so you know you all.
No, I wasn't.
No, you all have that.
This is Dean.
Yes, Dean.
I think the workaround is that in the drop-down box, select presenters, and it's going to select who the presenters are. Then go back to select everyone, and then it's going to select everybody, and then go to the audio side and press breakout only, and then it's going to put them in the breakout.
Okay, so you did it by going to presenters. Usually like this is not an issue. Like you could just do everyone and then select the mics. So just so you know, but what you guys are figuring out are there's workarounds here. So Dean said to go to presenters first. And again, this is a little unusual because usually they'll, be one or two people as presenters at the most, but right now we've got almost everybody here as presenters. Okay, so going back over to that breakout window where you hit create, I'm just looking to see if there's, so that's like if you want to really quickly separate people, and you don't always have to have them hit the 1 or 2 first. Like if I wanted to, I'm going to dissolve the groups, and now if I wanted to just really quickly, I don't have a lot of time, I just want to separate people, I'm clicking on everyone, I'm going to create, I've opened up my window and I'm going to commit, and right away it put people in. And then I am noticing, though, I'm not happy with like I want Naomi with Lori, I don't want Naomi with Dean. So I click on Naomi's name and I come to the right, and now I can easily put Naomi with, what I have to do is I have to look and see, oh, Lori's in room 20. So I'm going to click on Naomi's name and go down to 20. So again, I'm going to the right box to put her in there. So even if I take the shortcut through the create and dissolve on the left, if I want to switch people around, I really need to be doing it from the right. So that was what, when I used to teach this, I only only talked about the create and dissolve, but then I realized like, oh, people aren't going to know how to individually make those changes, and it'll happen quite a bit that you'll put people together and then change your mind, or the system didn't quite do it right. So now you know how to individually put people in. Now, are there any questions? And again, remember that like right now we have the breakout rooms separated, but unless I put everybody on breakout mode, we're all hearing each other. Now, Maureen, explain the difference between new breakout and private breakout, if you don't mind.
Oh, well, all I know, really, which isn't a whole lot, to be honest with you, but the new private breakout seems to be, it's totally private. So if somebody falls off the call and then they come back into the main room, when all the people in a new private breakout group, they don't hear that person saying, hello, hello. But if you're just in a breakout, I think you might hear them. So I always use the new private breakout. So just to avoid confusion in case something like that happens.
Okay, so with the private breakout and I'm just learning about this too, is then you're not going to hear the person in the main room, right? So I think that's what's happening is because that's why, so what Maureen, you were saying is sometimes people fall off the call, and even if you tell them don't just start to say hello, hello, they still do that. And then everyone can hear them in all groups because the default is usually, sometimes they will be put back in their room, but a lot of times the system just sticks them in the public and then everyone can hear them. But if it's private, then you can't hear them. The downside to that though, and let's try this. I'm gonna, does someone want to dissolve the groups just so you can practice? Deborah, do you want to dissolve?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, whoever.
Oh,
That's okay. That's okay.
I make a suggestion. Maybe we could practice with the music on and see. Like,
Oh.
I think we did that with the new private breakout group. If the music's on, I don't think you can hear it in the private breakout.
Okay, I'm gonna, could someone, let's see, Deborah, why don't you select everyone and then click new private breakout. Okay, so. Okay, let me just see. I'm going to put myself back in the, oh wait, I'm in the main room. Oh, our audio is still on public. So now I'm going to put the music on. Oh, I'm not hearing the music, but wait.
No music.
But I'm confused because we're not yet in breakout. Now we're in breakout. We're all together so we can all hear each other. Now we're on public, but why isn't the music playing at all? Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna put you all in breakout and I'm gonna talk and you tell me if you can hear me. I'm gonna put you in breakout right now. Okay, now I am talking. If you can hear me, hit 5. If you can hear me, hit 5. Oh, you guys can still hear me. Now, did you put us, let me try one thing here. I'm going to dissolve this. I'm going to put everyone in a new private breakout. Okay, now I'm gonna do, you guys can hear me because, oh wait. No, I'm putting us, we're all in our breakout room. I'm gonna say something now. Okay, now I just put myself in public. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take myself out of the group and then tell me, maybe that will work. So let's see, I'm gonna put myself in the main room. This is what I'm gonna, maybe this isn't really working how I want it to because I'm not in the main room. I'm gonna now go in the main room and tell me if you can hear me. Okay, I am now talking. If you guys can hear me, hit 5. If you guys can hear me, hit 5. Okay.
I can hear him.
Okay. But did you hear me? Did you just start to hear the music a second ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it does seem, so when you're in your private, because you only heard the music when I brought you back and you didn't hear me talk. So if you want to make it so that nobody can hear what's going on in the main room, then you could put everyone on private breakout. But now here's the only reason why you might not want to do that. So as the facilitator, well, okay, 2 things. When you are going to facilitate the group, even though you only really, like you're trying to create an extra group if it's a big class or a big practice group, and half the people you want to go into one room. But then let's say you're planning on like being with one group. You still have to create 2 groups or everyone would hear you talk in the main room, right? But let's say as the facilitator, you may want to go back and forth. Now you might, for the second room, assign a group leader who's a more experienced person and they could pretty much run the reading, but you might still want to check in on them. So in that case, you've got 2 groups going on and you can move yourself back and forth. So you just click on your name and I'll just show here, I'm gonna, let's see, Dean, would you break us up into 3 different groups? So we'd like you to break us up into 3 different groups right now. And then Dean, yes. Okay, so that's great, Dean. I just moved myself back to the public mic. Now if everyone is in the new breakout, just breakout, they can hear me. If you guys can hear me, hit 5. If you guys can all hear me, hit 5. Okay, so Dean put us all in the breakout. If Dean had put us in the private breakout, I would not be able to communicate with everyone. So as the facilitator, I might want to say to everybody, hey, we're meeting back here in 2 minutes. If we're on private breakouts, I'm going to have to individually move myself into each room to let you know that, because you're not going to be able to hear. So there's pros and cons. Sometimes we're happy, we don't want anyone to hear what's going on in the main room, but other times it may be, you know, less convenient because then I'd have to go to each room. Now, Dean, let's say Dean is the facilitator here. Everyone, oh wait, I think everyone's mics are on the big mic. Dean, can you put everyone on breakout mode mic except for yourself. And then, Dean, I want you to move to each group and say hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Dean.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Oh, wait. Dean. Oh, you're still on.
Hi.
Okay, wait. Dean, I think you're.
I went to.
Okay, so Dean.
Oh, sorry.
Dean, you. If we want you to only speak to each individual group, so what do you need to do so that not everyone hears you when you say hello?
Oh. Okay. Hold on.
Okay. And
Hi, Dean.
I switched to every group and
okay.
went to.
You're in group 20. Yeah, you're in group 27.
Okay.
This is Debra. No, I'm sorry. You're in 20. Oops, sorry.
You're in
28. Yes.
And now, Dean, put yourself back in public and say hi. You could tell everyone you're in public.
Okay. Can you hear me now? I'm on public right now.
Well, we can't talk because you can't hear us. So let's see if he figures it out. All right, well, I'll help him out here. Okay, Dean.
I took everyone out, and I believe everyone's in public right now.
Yes. So Dean, you could say, even though you were saying, okay, I'm now out, you couldn't hear us until either you have to bring us back to you or you have to come to us, right?
Right. Right.
But we could hear you, but then you couldn't hear us respond. So
right.
That's.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
Do you know if when you ring the bell or do the tone, or can you hear that even in the private breakouts? Or has anybody ever tried that? You know, the bell that you ring in class.
Yeah. So let's try that. So if everyone looks to the left, under the Create and Dissolve button, there's audio cues. And you can see it's defaulted to low tone. Does everyone see where I'm talking about? On the left, it says breakouts, yes. Audio cue. Okay, and then there's a timer there too. And so this is quite useful. So if I click, I usually like to click high tone and then the arrow, and that just makes it go off. And
okay.
And see, I used to think that when the timer was done, the tone would go off, but that doesn't seem to be the case. It seems like I have to hit the tone button. But that's maybe, especially if you let people know in advance, which I tend to forget, but if you say, you know, when you hear the tone, then you got to wrap it up. And then we'll meet back like 2 minutes later. So give them those instructions, and then you could click the tone. So now, does this work when people are in private breakouts? Let's try that. So how about if Naomi, could you dissolve the groups and then create a couple groups in private breakout and then click the tone? That's okay. Take your time. So
it's okay.
And you could always go to dissolve if you need to start over for anything. So it looks like she dissolved.
So if you're not using the hands, then you wouldn't be using the breakout thing on the left, right?
No, that's not correct. You could still use it. You could still use the either one. It's just the hands are one way to do it, but you don't need the hands. You can still, if you, again, you could either, let me take one look here because we're going to private. Actually, I'm not even seeing on the left the option to do private breakouts. So why don't you just, don't worry about it on the left, just work with it on the right. Oh, okay, so everyone is now in private.
So I hit new private breakout. Is that what you wanted?
Yes, so that's good. And now what we're going to
I
do.
think so.
Okay. So all I have to do is hit breakout only. Debra, I didn't put you in a group.
Okay.
So do you?
Okay. So I just put myself in with Lori and Sam, and now the microphones are we still need to be put on the breakout microphones, and then I'll click the high tone. So Naomi, could you do because right now oh wait, can you guys hear me? Hit 5 if you can hear me. Oh, you can't. Oh, but I'm in your group.
Oh,
Okay, so yeah, so Lori and Lisa Marie and Sam, just Lisa Marie, you can hear me. Okay, let's just experiment with this. I'm going to click the high tone. Okay, we are not hearing. I'm clicking the high tone and we're not hearing it, so you don't hear the tone in the private groups. Okay, I'm going to dissolve.
I guess not.
Okay, everyone.
I did not. Yeah.
Okay, so I dissolved the groups. So you guys didn't hear the tone either, did you?
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
So,
totally private. So Debra, I was telling Naomi, the only way that we could communicate when Bettina and I did it, if we wanted to combine, together at the end and do the closeout meditation, we would communicate just through the chat box and say, okay, 1 minute, we'll be ready or something. That's how we did it if everybody was in the private breakout.
oh.
Yeah. It's harder, maybe, but
So,
I'm not saying it's better, just saying.
yeah, well, there's pros and cons, but as long as as a facilitator, you can take yourself and move yourself. You can move yourself into a private breakout with the group. So you always have a way as a facilitator to communicate if you want to. You could just dissolve the groups, obviously, but then you've just done, then you have to start over if you're not done. But you just go to the right panel and put yourself into that private group, and then you can talk to them that way. If the two facilitators want to talk to each other, you can put yourselves into your own group. So that, and now if only, so let me just, okay, so if I went to new private breakout, and then I wanted Maureen to communicate just with you, Maureen, I could put the two of us in a private breakout and no one will hear us. So that's another way to communicate. Right? Did you find any problem with that, or you weren't sure? like when you and Bettina wanted to communicate with each other. Oh, let me dissolve this.
Yeah, I have done that. Oh, well, I didn't dissolve it until the very end, until we were done. And sometimes we couldn't line up, you know, sometimes we had to take longer in one group than the other. So the other group would drop off when they were done, and then, you know, so it didn't always line up. It was kind of hard to get everybody to be done at the same time if there were complications or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a little tricky if you know that you're only going to go for 10 more, maybe having a little bit more advance notice to the other group might help with that. Like say, okay, we're going to definitely have to finish up in 10 minutes. Like that might help. But
that's what we try to communicate through the chat box. Like I would say, oh, we're doing the healing now. We're starting. And so in 5 minutes, we'll be done with that. And so we kind of kept each other updated that way. I mean, I could pop into the other group too, but, you know, I think I would just try the breakout group. You know, it seems easier. Then we can use the bell.
Yeah. So you could just grab the facilitator and put yourselves both into your own room to talk. But it's nice to know that there is the staff chat. So how about if everyone look at the lower right of the page. And now this is only going to be if you have another facilitator in your group, which you won't always, but under staff chat, I'm putting my name in the upper, there's a little box there. So you know whose name it is. And then you can, let's see, you might have to move the screen up, like my screen was too low, but just why doesn't everyone say hi to each other in the staff chat? I see Nedra and Sam and already before had found the box. There's Debra, Naomi, Dean had to leave. Naomi, do you see where the staff chat is? And Lisa Marie.
Yes. Oh. Okay. No.
So it's on the far left panel at the bottom of this. So far left at the bottom. And it says staff chat.
Well, I typed hi in and then post message. Isn't that?
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know, I don't think we can. Oh, I see. Mine did show up. Sorry.
So Naomi, put your name. Do you see a little box that says, so I see where you said hi, but we don't know who's talking. So put your name. This took me a long time to realize this. But in the little box next to the word staff chat, type your name and then type below that hi or whatever you want to type. So we could just see if your name can come up. Again, this isn't really going to matter too much because whoever you're with will know it's you usually, but do you see where you can put your name in the box?
I did put my name in and I typed hi.
Oh, for some reason
and then I hit post.
Wait, you hit, okay, so for some reason I don't see your name, I just see post.
Enter.
I just see post.
You don't have to type post message. Oh.
I still don't see it coming up as.
There I am. Got it.
Oh.
I was hitting post message.
Oh, okay. No worries. No worries. Okay. So I think this has been, I know we've been at this for a long time. I can see where it would have been good to have gone over this again a long time ago. So sorry about that. You know, it's taken me a long time myself to just kind of figure all this out. And so like training new people, well, obviously we've got a couple of new people here. So it's taken me a while to figure out really what would have been the best way to get people trained on this. And so does anyone still feel confused about anything?
I just have a quick question, Debra. So so I know we talked about new breakout and new private breakout. Just really fast, we decided that we would just use the regular new breakout, right, instead of the new private one?
Well, you know, it's really up to you. The thing to keep in mind, the advantage of private breakout is that like if someone drops off the call and comes back in, they're not going to be like talking so everyone can hear them. If that happens, you just have to grab them and put them back in their room really fast. And you know, you can remind people too, if you're creating breakouts, that if they do drop their call, to be silent when they call back in. People don't always remember that, but so if it's just on breakout, then
New private breakout.
well no. The breakout, if they're in breakout, you can still hear what's happening in the main room, in the public room. So if they're just on breakout, they will hear anything that happens in the main room. If they're in private breakout, they won't hear anything in the main room. So that's an advantage, but the disadvantage is then you can't easily just say, hey, everybody, like, you know, if everyone was in breakout room right now and I needed to get a message to everyone really quick, I just take myself and I put myself on public and I know everyone can hear me. But if everyone's in new private breakout, I'm not going to be able to speak to the group at large. I'm going to have to go into each individual group to give them a message. So that's the difference. So it's up to you what you would like to do. Again, I know it's been a little bit since you've been facilitating, Sam. So basically, I know what's happening is we've been having more people attend, especially in the mornings. And so we've started, I would say as a general rule, it would be good to not like have more than, say, maybe like 5 people in 5 people. So if you have 6 people and that's all, you can like maybe keep them all together. But if you have more than that, like it would be good to split them up into 2 groups. So that's why I wanted to make sure everyone knew how to do this, because it really starts to get to be too many people, especially if we have more advanced readers. Now it's up to you. Like, let's say you have 5 people show up and it's yourself. You could 5 people is still okay for, you know, just to have one reading. But you know, you guys can, if you have more than 5, you can, or say more than 6, well, more than 5 maybe, you know, just say to everyone, hey, we have a bunch of people here. Would you guys like to all read as one group, or should we split into 2 groups? And if we split into 2 groups, does anyone want to volunteer to be the group leader in the other room? So that would be good general practice. Now, this coming week, I we're going to have 2 volunteers in the morning. And I think Nedra left already, but I was going to ask her because she's been coordinating. I think we still need someone to volunteer for this week. If anyone is available and would like to do it this week, you could, we have the facilitator calendar, and if anyone needs that link, you could let me know, or it's in our group page. Does anyone in our facilitator group page under login information? Okay, any other questions? I think what I'm going to do is, there's still like more tips and everything. I think I've got some videos already on those tips of running the groups, but I think I might do like another recording, maybe just on my own, and record it, of just how to structure the practice group, different considerations, things that come up. But as long as we're here, is there any issues that any of you have been encountering that you would like to share right now? Those of you that have been facilitating. All right then, any additional questions before we hang up? Your brains are probably pretty fried at the moment. I know mine is. All right.
Thank you so much, Debra.
Right.
I appreciate it. If you could send me the link, or maybe just send it to everybody for the calendar, that'd be cool.
Okay, I'll do that. And then Lisa Marie, I will connect you up either with the, you know what, I'm going to make a recording, and then I'll send you the recording, and then we can talk more and see, you know, how you would like to participate.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, and then, yeah, and then Sam, I'll send you the facilitator link, and then you can put yourself, or there's a calendar, it's a team up calendar, so you just put yourself down wherever you would like to facilitate, and I'll send that out.
Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.